For a lot of traders, Friday is their least favorite day of the week because there is no stock market tomorrow. But what I'll do is I will go back and look through the week, look at some stocks that you requested, and go over some analysis to figure out what the stocks have been doing and what they might do going forward, looking at candlestick sentiment. Let's dive in and check out this free real-life stock review presented by your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom. Let's dive in. Hey traders from around the world, what's going on? It's your boy Jeremy Alexander Newsom with Real Life Trading. I hope you are having and have had a great week. The weekend is here, Friday is over, the markets are closed, and it was a little bit of a bloodbath out there today. Markets down big, so it does look like we're going to continue a little bit of selling here, folks. It seems that way to me at least. We could get a little bit of a bullish day on Monday or Tuesday, but we had a big, gnarly, bearish close today on the SPY. This is a big deal. We've closed below this price before, and we have retested this price. Again, back over here on March 23rd, we've done it, and we still technically haven't made a new low relative to this candle. But I mean, the other positive thing is we're closing. If I hide all the drawings, we're pretty much closing right on top of the 100 simple moving average on a weekly. So it's interesting. I mean, there's a lot to be looking at bullish, but there's a lot more also that looks a little bit bearish out there. So you really do want to have yourself a good blend and mix of positions. So I'll go through all the trades that the real life traders are in officially and just kind of go through them. As of right now, they're all bearish, but I am looking for some bullish trades if I can find some, but presently most of them are bearish. So here's the thing, the SPY, you had this nice little lower shadow yesterday. So nice little lower shadow, and you had a good hammer candle, right? We traded up, traded down, and this gap down today was trapping any of the buyers. The other big deal is these two little red lines. If I go into the 15-minute chart, this was just a support that I've been mentioning the last few days in the trading rooms that we really should not have broken, or we should not break. And I talked about that on Monday. Once Monday came in this low, I was like, all right, this looks like it's it. This should be the main support. And we've broken that support. We broke the support and we retested it and failed today. So that is a little bit of a weaker sign. And at this particular point, looking at both the IWM, which did exactly what Mr. Squiggles thought, which was breakdown, retest, and roll over. We are making lower lows on the IWM. We did get a really strong bearish candle close on the weekly, so that's bearish. Yeah, it just is. So again, we do have a few bearish candles in a row out there in the market, so I wouldn't be shocked by any stretch of the imagination if we get a little bit of a retest on Monday, Tuesday, but I would be bracing yourselves at this point for lower lows. Here's the thing, the Dow Jones Industrial had a stupendous bearish gap and go today. Look at these two cute white candles, and we just gapped down 500 points. A little bit of a flag right here, and this is a strong bearish gap on the Dow Jones. So I just want to really make sure we're aware of that. This is a strong gap, and I do think any type of retest will get shorted on Monday, Tuesday. We likely will see some lower lows. Again, it doesn't have to be incredulously bearish. We could just trade down to the 100 simple and start bouncing, but the fact that the IWM is breaking below the 100 simple and the SPY is about as close as you can get. The Qs hasn't quite broken it yet, but again, was a pretty decent bearish gap. It is a retest gap today, so just keep that in mind. Monday, Tuesday, I mean, we could see a little bit of a pause and a little bit of a rest, but that's something to be, to really consider closely. I'll go through the swing trades that a bunch of real life traders are in. The two that we exited today, I got out at Billy about 5 cents from the top. This was one that pretty much break even. I mean, it was 0.08 Rs or something. It was very, very small gain on Billy. We originally got in at 15.30. Been holding this one for a while. Could have increased the stop, right? No problem. But I wanted to lock in a little bit more profit on the day. So I figured why not just get out of that one, lock in the gain. Same thing on NIO. So we got out of both of those bullish Chinese plays. And we could always get back in later, but we did exit both of those as far as the bullish trades. All the other swing trades that we're in right now, though, except for Blue Apron, is bearish. So Blue Apron just not doing anything. This one has been trading very sideways, and we got in a long time ago. We had a super far away stop, and so this was our original stop, was at 45 cents. So willing at this point, if it does get stopped out, worst case scenario, going to lose like 0.6 Rs on Blue Apron. Totally fine. Very, very small loss if it happens, and it looks like it will. So that's a bullish position, but the rest bearish. So here's United Airlines, ticker symbol UAL, inside day candle today with a shaved bottom candle. So keep a very close eye on UAL just in case if it breaks down. Right, if it breaks below the low of today and the low of Thursday, you'd see UAL most likely continue lower. You got a really nice weekly high wave candle, and again, it is right on the 20, so it could bounce. But that one's a little bit of a bearish position presently. And Weight Watchers, ticker symbol WTW. Weight Watchers is in bearish. It also had a little bit of a bearish gap down today, so we can see what Weight Watchers is doing. Dropbox, so we're in Dropbox bearish. And here's iRobot, IRBT. We're in iRobot bearish. Now this one is hanging out at the 50 EMA on a weekly, which again, I understand could be a support. We have bounced there before recently, and it could happen again. I just like this daily chart. I like to stop above where it is. I like the candles. So we got triggered in on iRobot. Again, we just traded right down to this kind of little support. So just kind of fingers crossed for iRobot to break down. And we got some puts on Seagate Technology. That was a weekly options newsletter. We got skipped over on Verizon, unfortunately, but this was also a weekly options newsletter that we set up on this day, which was the 11th, Tuesday, of course, and it just gapped down overall. Now, Costco. So Costco, congratulations to a few real-life traders out there. Greg, Tim, Frank, well done on Costco. Got a few good text messages about that one because I did send out a Costco pre-earnings analysis back on the 12th, so 2 days ago. It was pretty much saying, hey, if we gap down into the red box, right, you guys all know the plan from there. If we gap down, be bearish. If we gap up, be bullish. And Costco gapped right into the red box. I mean, I've taken it off at this point, but it opened down there and just sold off pretty much all day. Really good gap. And here's the 5-minute chart. And the 5-minute, once it just took out the low of the day, right here. So it broke the low of the day, retested, and just slid down all day long. You'll be proud of me. Johnson & Johnson faded this one at some point during the day for about as good of a gain as you could have gotten realistically. This was a bearish gap and go on Johnson & Johnson. Tons of volume coming in on this thing. Really interesting move. So Johnson & Johnson most likely will help drag the markets down a little bit. The reason I went long on it today was because it traded into the 100 simple on the weekly and the 200 simple on the daily. So I was thinking, okay, that could be a good little spot to get in. And here was the 5-minute chart. And this was the original setup. So once, I started looking at it on a 3-minute. So once this hammer candle right here came in, I got interested in Johnson & Johnson. And in hindsight, I probably should have done half an R at 132.71 and another half an R at maybe 132 even. Had a stop down here. But anyway, this was the setup. 132.71 by 129.71. $3 worth of risk. And the target was the VWAP, which was right about here. That was target number 1. And so we got a quarter of our position there. And I really was hoping that it would just run to the moon. Didn't, started trailing the stop, and then ended up getting stopped out. So that's totally fine. It's a small win on Johnson & Johnson, about half an R or so. Not too bad overall. But yeah, keep your eyes on J&J here because a little bit of a sideways movement and a breakdown. That one realistically has plenty of room to continue if it breaks the 100. Not saying Johnson & Johnson's going to 0 by any means, but you have this really good resistance at 148. Traded to that resistance, hanging out here, and a continuation lower. A lot of people could see Johnson & Johnson trade down to 120. There was some option premiums for my option sellers on Johnson & Johnson in which they sold. Had a few people sell the 100s and some 110s expiring next Friday on Johnson & Johnson. So those should be okay. Anyway, keep your eyes on this one to continue a little bit lower. It's a great gap, good volume. Something like this is totally plausible on Johnson & Johnson. So just kind of keep an eye out on that and figure out what that does. Facebook, so I did lose on Facebook today. So I had 2 winners and 1 loser, and close out the swing trade. So a profitable day in the books. But Facebook, tried it, just didn't work. It looked really good. Here's the 3-minute chart this morning. And the 3-minute chart, you can kind of see the first 3-minute candle had a nice long lower shadow. You're making lower highs. And I thought to myself, you know what, if we take out that lower shadow, somewhere around here, kind of hop in bearish. And that's what I did, and it just did not work. Simple as that. So Facebook, a few people, played Facebook today, gave it an attempt. And the one thing I'm a little sad about is once this candle came in and got stopped out, I knew I was trapped. Right? I was like, okay, so I picked the wrong direction on Facebook. Looks like it's probably not going to go down. So when this came in, and this started popping, I really wanted to get in bullish and just did not pull the trigger. A little gun shy, I guess, on Facebook going long because the market just looked so weak today, all day, so I didn't go long on Facebook. Would have made a really good gain on that trade, but alas, all is good. So FB, I mean, keep your eyes peeled on this one. This is an evening star reversal-esque pattern, not super strong, but it's there. And we're hanging out at the 50 on Facebook. One of the stocks that looks the weakest to me is still Apple. Apple had a bearish gap and go today with volume. And this blue line, as you all know, is what I drew on the fall portfolio, the second edition. If you got a chance to check that out, I think I emailed that out on Tuesday. And if you scroll down here on Apple, this was pretty much the chart. It was like, all right, hey, let it gap down, right? Trade higher, roll over. This is the same blue line from that portfolio, and this is it right here. So it's exactly what happened. Trade down, trade up, and rolled over. Very nice gap down on Apple. And remember, we have failed the 100 simple on a weekly. We've retested it from the bottom. And at this point, if you have bullish positions in Apple, I think it would be a wise decision to at least protect yourself with some protective puts. As I think Apple is going to head down slowly into the 141 area, which will likely bring the rest of the market down with it. Here's NVDA. And NVIDIA also looks a smidge on the weak side. A lot of people are in some puts on NVIDIA. Most traders that I know are that are in it are in a 130, 100 February bear put spread. So something to consider for my option traders on NVIDIA. It's a debit spread, 130, 100 February. Just looks a little bit weak to me. And my boy Troy's in a bear call spread, 160, 165. Again, I kind of think this chart looks broken with a close below the 100, a close below this hammer candle. I just don't see anything realistically that bullish on NVIDIA. So, yeah, just have some protection on that one because I do think that one's going to go lower as well. And yeah, so again, there are some stocks out there that do have some interesting, significant weakness, and feel free to play them how you see fit. If you have any questions, reach out to me. A lot of the banks look horrifically weak. JP Morgan with the gap down, white candle today. So that's all you need as far as the rest is concerned. So again, I'm kind of fingers crossed for a sideways move or a retest Monday, Tuesday of next week, just in the broad markets in general. And if we break down from that trade sideways rest on Monday, Tuesday, I mean, we're going to go lower. And if we do just break down and keep running on Monday, which I know it seems far away, but if that happens, we have room to rest. That's the thing. Here's the DIA. We've traded sideways. We've rested. This is a good gap down. So even if we don't retest on Monday and we continue lower, we have room to go down. So right now, yeah, things are looking just a smidge more bearish than bullish. Still going to be keeping an eye out on bullish trades. I'm by no means abandoning them at all. Just comes down to time frame, right? It's all about time frame. We're going to be discussing so much in large details in the trading room, the afternoon swing trading room. Next week at Real Life Trading is the last week that we're going to be alive and kicking until 2019. Here's the calendar, and it seems someone told me that the holiday season is right around the corner. So RLT is closed the 24th, 25th for obvious reasons, 26th, 27th, 28th, and then the 31st and the 1st for obvious reasons, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Every year we close for those 2 weeks. So I'm sure I'll still be sending out some videos and some content your way during that time, but I won't be having any reviews. Gonna get some relaxing in, family time, see the nephews, the nieces, the eventual step-parents. Step-parents? In-laws. So, wow, that's weird to say. Anyway, yep, so that's happening next week, folks. A lot of stuff's going to be happening in the markets. If you want to get one last taste into real life trading, you're welcome to sign up. But just know these 2 weeks the markets are closed. And a little birdie told me that the RLT free open house week is going to be this week right here, end of January. Start marking your calendars now. It's going to be lit. All right, team. I'll see you around. Thank you so much. And until next time, love life, trade. Bye.